Coming to you live from Studio 6 in Seattle, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading edge topics, along with special co-hosts to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that's going to make you go, Now sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time Radio with your host, Nathan Lowe. Welcome to Tech Time Radio, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week for August 30th through September 5th, 2020, episode 12. And on today's show, we're excited to talk about small businesses and how to make the most of online networking in today's world. Of course, we have some tricks up our sleeves and secrets that you can take away from this to help you network online. It's a little different than hanging out at networking social events pre-COVID
card.
Yeah, pre-COVID time. So now it's a little bit different. So we got something to do with that. Of course, we have our Protect Yourself Today, where we'll be talking about cyber crimes and hackers and a lot of stuff that's in the news right now. We also have our top stories in 5 minutes that we go through, Nathan's top selected stories that he talks about, and our pick of the day. But today we are looking at a head-to-head competition between Mike, our expert guru in everything psychology related and in thinking. And so you're going to try to read how I'm thinking versus the computer geek on an old style board game that we're going to go head to head with on Gamer Time. So that should be exciting. So, Mike, glad to have you back in the studio. Like I said,
good to be back.
Yep, good to see you. So, I'm not going to ask you how your weekend is,
Ask me a loaded question.
I'm going to ask you a loaded question. And here goes the loaded question for the day. The loaded question is, what makes you feel calm?
Bourbon.
Bourbon makes you feel calm. Bourbon makes everybody feel calm, doesn't it?
Yeah. I let's see. What makes me feel calm? That's a really interesting question. You know, I practiced martial arts for over 20 years, so
Okay.
I have a lot of strategies that I use to feel calm. In fact, some people think I'm so calm I'm dead sometimes. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay, well that wouldn't be good. So it's just so calm. So you liked a little karate, a little wah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that, and you also know I teach Tai Chi too. So
You do.
that's one of them. I do practice meditation in the mornings. I also work on my belief system, so I'm not constantly ticked off about what everybody's out there doing.
Do you know what again that solves it? Whiskey.
Yeah,
whiskey.
Yeah,
A little whiskey on the side takes
whiskey
care
on
of
the side. Yeah,
everything. It's
for
amazing.
medicinal purposes only.
That's right. Well, for many different purposes. Let me just tell you. So, okay, glad. So that was our questions. The things that make me calm: watching Family Feud. So if I want to relax a little bit, I put a little Steve Harvey Family Feud in and just say, "Wow."
That's calming to you?
Yeah, it is, because it's like, you know what? I am not that stupid. Why would you ever say that? That's what I do.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. So a little judgmental, but let's talk about our alcohol now. We have Knob Creek, our 9-year aged single reserve. So this, I know that you're familiar with Knob Creek. I liked it previously. This is a different bottle. This is a Jim Beam distillery. So the Jim Beam actually is the one that distills the Knob Creek beer. It's 120 proof, so it's got a little bit of kick. So it's
Perfect.
It's going to go down smooth, hopefully, and stay down. The price point's around $40 to $50.
That might calm me out really good.
So then you'll just be sitting there going, "Oh, I'm really calm now."
I might be so calm I'm sleeping.
That's right. So this is enjoyed with a little bit of water. I'm going to take a little sip of water first, though.
Go ahead. I'm not going to.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. Even the bite's good.
It's a quick bite. It's a very quick bite. I'm not burning aftertaste.
Yeah, it doesn't last long.
No, so it's like a real quick bite. So that's our whiskey we're going to taste, and we'll see if it's a thumbs up. No. You got to wait till you go through.
Okay.
You got to go. At the end of the show, we will get to reveal whether you think it's a thumbs up, it's a thumbs down. Let's start with our very first segment right now, and that is our top stories in 5 minutes. What's happening in technology? Nathan's top stories in the first 5 minutes. Story number 1, Zoom is down at the worst possible time. Zoom has
Darn
had
it.
two big outages, both back to back on Monday. So last Monday and this Monday, Zoom was down, and it's both the time when people are going back to school.
That's probably why it went down.
So that's probably why everybody's using it, and Zoom was ready for it, but maybe not as ready. So the same day that many schools are back in session, Zoom, the teleconferencing software that has become the go-to for many educators, remote teaching needs, and foreseeable future connection places, seems to have crashed for a large group in the United States. While Zoom's own Twitter account hasn't mentioned the widespread outages thus far, Zoomers across the country have posted about the service failures. The outage reportedly seems to be ticking up early in the mornings and crashing during midday services. Service Down Detector received more than 8,000 outage reports. We have received a report of users being unable to start and join Zoom meetings and webinar, a Zoom spokesman said. We are currently investigating and will provide updates as we have them. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. All right, so what should be the expectation for the fall and school year? If Zoom is unable to start, is that a snow day for you? If you can't get on your Zoom in the morning,
It's a Zoom day.
Is it a Zoom day? Are we going to have new Zoom days of saying that I can't get access?
Why not?
I don't know. I guess so. If I can't get on in the morning, do I have to try to reconnect at a later time?
I would think so.
You would think so.
Yeah.
So do you have to connect to each Zoom class? So it's like it's first period class isn't available. I can skip first period and then show up to second period.
I'm just going to skip all of them.
You skipped all of them?
Yeah.
I didn't do
No.
that in school. I'd skip a
know, I
couple.
would.
I skip a couple periods every once in a while.
That is definitely one of the most frustrating things is when you do have a Zoom call and you cannot connect.
Or Microsoft Teams or Cisco, any of the conferencing deals, all of them are pretty much the same deal. So what happens when you have three people in your household all trying to use the same bandwidth?
Yeah, life
at the
sucks.
So do people understand? I don't think people understand this. This fall is going to be interesting. When people go back and you try to have 4 different streams, let's say you have 3 kids in your house, right? And you're still trying to do work from home. You're essentially having streams of media coming to your computer, to their 3 computers, plus any iPhone or any other little gadget that they're going to be twiddling around with and playing with while they're on a Zoom call itself. I don't think people understand the bandwidth limitations that are going to happen, and people are going to be slow and unproductive and not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I've already noticed a slowdown in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
With unstable network connections and things.
So all of a sudden I'm in the middle of watching a Netflix or something on Disney Plus, and all of a sudden, boom, I get the buffer screen coming up.
Oh, that's the worst.
And
Screw Zoom calls. When you mess up my Mandalorian intake, that's really bad.
That's right. All right, so that's story number 1. Story number 2, Facebook. There can't be a week that we do an episode here without having either Uber or Facebook on.
Yeah, why?
Those are like just guarantees. It's just
They're
those are like guaranteed stories. Let me see what did Facebook screw up on or Uber did. All right, so Facebook France is going to pay $125 million in back taxes, according to the business magazine Capital. Facebook confirmed the agreement to both Capital and Routers.
Yeah, but that's not just Facebook.
No, so it's Facebook had to pay the $125 million, but other companies have done it. So French tax authorities raided Facebook's office in Paris in 2012.
Yeah, go France.
And later opened an investigation on unpaid taxes covering activity between 2009 and 2018. According to the investigation, Facebook alleged optimization its tax effort and funneling its subsidiaries in different European countries. So
Which is allowed.
So it's a gray area. Funneling sales to a different country is legal, but you have to prove that there wasn't any salesperson based in France selling to a French customer. And that's where Facebook got in trouble, and so did all these other people. So
yeah, it looks like France just wants their piece, man.
That's correct. So many tech companies have had to pay back taxes in France in the same issue. For instance, Google paid $549 million, and in fines and $510 million in back taxes in 2019. So we didn't have Tech Time Radio, and then otherwise we'd probably be just talking about Google every day. And Apple settled a dispute covering $572 million in back taxes also. So Facebook just got caught up with the other people over there of trying to sell in France and not paying France taxes.
Yeah.
Story 3, forget about broadband. The ultra broadband internet is almost here. Oh, there goes our time. I hear our buzzer going, but we're going to finish this. A team of scientists from University College London have discovered a way of how to dramatically increase data transfer rates over fiber optic cables. This is pretty interesting. So, the new discovery implemented could radically increase bandwidth and backhaul networks with ultimate internet speeds at homes, leading into ultra-fast broadband deals. So, you don't have to replace the fiber already existing. The method discovered by the UCL team is to implement it in a commercial viable way that it could practically be the building backhaul for networks using 4G and 5G towers, data centers, stores, houses, and homes. The scientists use a hybrid discrete Raman and rare earth doped fiber optic amplifier, which enables wideband signal gain within a spectrum grasp between amplified bands. The researchers said that to cope with the significant SNR wavelength dependency, the result of fiber parameters in the hybrid amplification method, they can optimize each SNR wavelength and transmit band. So essentially, every ounce of the fiber, they can amplify one strand of fiber over one strand of fiber over one strand and send an accelerated deal. Potentially, it means that the providers can offer high speed for wireless and wireless broadband people without having to pay for their infrastructure. So I'm sure they're going to offer that for free to all of that, right?
I'm sure.
You're sure of that?
Are we really sure that's going to meet the end user? Because isn't the United States somewhere around sixth place in internet connectivity and speed?
So do you know the number one place is Africa?
Yeah.
So it's amazing. So you'd think about Africa because they have cell towers and they don't have litigation and regulations and it's very flat.
Yeah, they also
so
don't have these massive telecommunication companies that are artificially playing with
limiting your bandwidth and everything. So they can just go from tower to tower. So that is correct. So that was story 3. And story 4 is about Anne Seidrell. She is the first female voice for computers that died at 74. So she was a researcher at AT&T. So go to techtimeradio.com. Also check out the fact section. So anything that you don't think that I was telling the truth about, you can click on the link yourself and fact check it. So we don't make up fake news here. We leave that to the other broadcasts. So at this, we are going to take a break. This is Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. Come with us back after this commercial break, and we will get right into Protect Ourselves Today.
New Advil Dual Action with acetaminophen fights pain in 2 ways. Advil targets pain at the source, while acetaminophen blocks pain signals. The future of pain relief is here. New Advil Dual Action.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. As we start the segment with a sip of whiskey today, we are tasting the Knob Creek. It's like boom, and then it's smooth.
Yeah, it goes away fast.
It is. Okay, so Mike, before we start our next segment, have you ever heard of the term vishing?
I get vishing calls all day.
You get vishing calls all the time. All right, so as we start our new segment, not our new segment, as we start our segment, Protect Yourself Today, we're going to be talking about phishing.
Protect Yourself Today.
Protect Yourself Today is a 5-minute rundown of weekly technology breaches or business compromises across the globe. Mike, first story number 1, alert. Phishing attacks are surging.
Yep.
All right. So the FBI and CISA warn that hackers are targeting those who are working at home. Have you received any of these attempts?
Oh, I get one. I get about one a week, I think, where some computer is telling me my Social Security number has been compromised and the FBI is looking for me and I need to call a number.
Immediately, you got to call the number, otherwise you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is it.
I'm not in jail yet. So
You're not in jail, so you've been okay then.
Yeah. This has been going on for months now. So
All right.
The FBI doesn't know where I am, apparently.
That's right. So here, the FBI and the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency had no idea that we had a cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency. Warn that hackers are increasingly using voice phishing, or a new term called vishing, to target employees who are working from home due to COVID-19 pandemic. In a joint alert, the FBI and CISA warn of an outgoing widespread vishing campaign that started in mid-July and is targeting remote workers to steal login credentials and other data that are used to launch attacks and steal financial data. Using vished credentials, cyber criminals mined the victim's company's database for their customer personal information to leverage in other attacks. According to the alert, the monetization method varied depending upon the company, but is highly aggressive with a tight deadline between the initial breach and the disruptive cash-out scheme. So we talked about this last week. We're going to be continuing to talk about this forever. Essentially, they are calling on the phone, asking you for usernames and passwords, asking you to reset stuff, ask you to type in your password on these phone calls, let us know what your password is. And then they immediately get on in, and instead of destroying the systems, they are looking for their customers' personal information so that they can then have the insurance company pay out the premiums of the ransomware. Story number 2. FINRA warns of spoofed websites impersonating real brokers. So fraudsters could use sites to steal personal data and send phishing emails. So we went from phishing
to phishing.
So the Financial Industrial Regulatory Authority, which is the FINRA, a private organization that helps self-regulate brokerage firms and exchange markets in the U.S., is warning that our fraudsters have recently started creating spoofed websites and domains using members' real names and images in to attempt to steal personal information and credentials. The agency is warning members that the fraudsters are attempting to steer potential victims to the site to collect personal information such as their names, mailing address, phone number, and contact forms posted on this website. So firms have recently informed FINRA that malicious actors are using registered representative names and other information to establish websites that appear to represent personal sites, and are also calling direct potential customers to use the imposter's website as an alert. So again, number one thing about a website, make sure you look at the address you're typing into and go to the main website address. If you need to pay something on PayPal, if you need to do something, go to paypal.com, log into your account.
Look at the link.
Yes, do not click the link that somebody is sending you and just expect it to be okay and that everything is taken care of, because those will be fake links that will then not necessarily compromise your information, but get your username and password so they can actually then log on to the real site with that information.
Yep. This is just taking advantage of our natural, it's the law of familiarity and the natural inclination that we tend to overlook things when we're busy.
Yep. Story number 3, medical records exposed via GitHub leaks. So GitHub is this place that is free that you can go and put your source code to, or you can put your development code out there so you can have developers all across the world work on developing code for your applications. Very, very common use place. But here's what we got. So we have an exposure on GitHub leaks accounts for exposure of PHI, which is personal information, of at least 150,000 patients. GitHub provides hosting for software developments using the open source version control system called Git. Many organizations rely on GitHub to help maintain the code, but unfortunately, many developers continue to accidentally expose administrative credentials via code they post on the public GitHub repositories. Such credentials can give enterprising attackers a way to directly access sensitive system database, emails, messages, and more. The latest example comes from a new report that describes how 9 U.S. organizations have exposed protected health information, or PHI, for a total of at least 150,000 patients. The organizations are ACQ Data, MaineCore, MedPro Billing, Shields Healthcare Group, Texas Physician House, Viral Medica, Waystar, Exibin, and another entry that is not listed. So that must be a larger person that they didn't want to list.
Right.
So all of this information is available again on techtimeradio.com. That is the sound of our bell has just gone out. So if you want to read anything more about this, and if any one of those organizations do any of your medical billing or any of your medical information, then you're going to want to contact them immediately because your credentials probably have been taken care of and sold on the dark web. Mike, we're gonna just protect ourselves today the uplifting
I
segment
feel like
of the
I
show.
need more liquor.
You need some more liquor after going through that. That's right. You know, I feel bad about that. So.
we seem to be having this thing where we're depressing ourselves, so we need to medicate.
So maybe we start with protect ourselves first, and then we
Maybe.
can work ourselves out. Because the 5-minute stories are always just about Facebook or somebody being
Yeah, or
sued or
France.
something, right? Or France getting mad at somebody. All right. Well, everybody, we got a great topic on our Technology Insider that we're going to come back and talk about. So make sure you guys join us with that. It's all about small business networking, online tools to grow your business, and we're going to be right back with Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm, after these commercial breaks.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? Get an on-demand CIO working for you to protect and keep your business running. To find out more, go to www.ee-services.com. That's ee-services.com.
Welcome back to the show. Mike and I have been enjoying a little whiskey on the side while you guys were on commercial break. And now, Mike, what does this whiskey remind you of?
You know, it reminds me of a sweet, cool summer day on the lake.
Okay, mine just reminds me of a good glass of whiskey, but that's very insightful. All right. It's a great day on the lake. Okay, fantastic.
You can pay me later.
I'll pay you later. Okay, all right. Oh, on to our next story. All right. Okay, now for our featured story in Technology Insider. Welcome to Technology Insider. Get the inside information directly from the source. This is Technology Insider, how to make the most of online networking in today's world. So as you know what traditional businesses networking looks like, right? That is,
Yes.
you all get together at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you go down to the local bar, you go bowling, you do some type of hangout where you all do small talk.
You do awkward card exchanges.
Yeah, you give your business card. Oh, call me. I can do that, or I can do that. Oh, we should do business sometime. And then you have a couple people that you actually say, hey, I could do some business with. And then you try to reach out to them, and then they're busy, and then it was unsuccessful. But
Yeah, I see your experience is about as good as mine was. I hate those things.
You don't like those things?
No, but I'm an introvert. So.
Okay, so I'm an introvert too. I'm an introvert that's a little weird because I get extrovert excitement too at the same time. Well, guess what? Today is your day because you know what? As an introvert, you can now do all of these great things from your PC.
Yay!
So
like
this
online dating.
This is so I don't know about online dating. Have you ever done online dating?
I have.
So I was back. I was married to my wife before the internet became big, so it was a little. So how is the what do you do on that? Is it like you write these profiles that aren't really realistic that you like to go out and do this and this? And
It's like Facebook.
is it like Facebook?
Yeah, you just tell lies to everybody.
And you just repost stuff that's not
and then
true.
And then you do awkward conversations with people that may be robots. You know,
You don't know if it's actually
you don't know
somebody.
if they're real people. You know.
Yeah, okay. Well, this isn't quite that bad. So this is how do you transition from those great networking events that, you know what, if you're a salesperson and extrovert, they just love that stuff. That's like heaven to them. They go and they can do, I know a guy that's in sales and he can do 3 networking events a night and he just loves it. He'll do one at
I don't know.
5.
I have to get trashed in order to enjoy the networking event.
That's why they have alcohol at some of those,
Yeah,
right?
by
So
the liquid courage.
That's right.
And by the time I'm sufficiently liquored up, the thing's over with. So you know.
All right. So here's what we got. So there are applications out there Alignable is one. That's a local one. It's kind of a new one that's popping up.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
So Alignable is a company that you can sign up for. It's for small businesses. LinkedIn is really, really growing right now. I mean, it's growing by leaps and bounds. It's really
that's one of the number one networking tools out there already.
It is. So here are some tools of what you need to do to make a great online event. So first, let's take a deep dive into the world of online networking. Why make new connections online matters, where you can go to get started, 5 ways to start building a network digitally, real examples of how to communicate and use networking on a business to day-to-day basis. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, well, it says it makes no difference because we're moving forward.
We're going to move forward anyway,
okay,
aren't we?
So let's talk about it. First, you need to make sure that you don't have opportunities and connections pass you by. Online networking opens up a new world where informal, ongoing network activities can coexist and mingle with each other in now formal events. In short, networking has just become more convenient and easier than ever. The key here is understanding the full grasp concept of online network can be difficult. So especially getting thrown into the digital deep end can seem like a scary time in the water. So what do? Small business networks. First up, let's run through the main ways you network so that you can get a better idea of what the different things are between them. In-person events and face-to-face meetings are still important. You probably are familiar with the old ways where you had networking events, but in today's world, the same networking events that you would have done in a networking group like BNI or your Chamber of Commerce or a trade organization can all be done online. And small businesses are looking for ways to be successful in this current COVID-19 area. Online networking options have the availability to network in person and extend much further to evolving technologies. Here are some ways you can network without leaving your home. So you can be in your pajamas, networking step number 1.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest things about COVID.
What's that?
We're learning how to do a lot of things in our pajamas.
In our pajamas?
Yeah.
See, I struggle. I have to still, I've maybe gone to the shorts model type of deal, but I used to work at Microsoft, so shorts were sometimes okay during the summertime. So it's not, but yeah, I still.
Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people. There are a lot of people I know that are just hating life. But me, I love it.
You love it? Okay, so number 1. Hosting or attending online events. This is the most clear-cut type of online networking you can do. Of course, they look a little bit different, but you can do webinars, online workshops, virtual training courses, and anything that has a networking element of your talents.
Yep.
Online networking events can usually run a video or video conferencing service. You join using a camera or a microphone, and you're able to see attendees on a grid screen all at the same time. You have the ability here to be a specialist on these online networking events where you can enjoy your abilities to learn, to teach, and to be a part of a large group activity. So let's talk about hosting online events. I have had 3 online events that I've been a part of that were phenomenal. Okay, one of them was an filters-only event. So you had to go and load like an Instagram filter or some type of filter. So when you came on in, essentially your picture of you was completely altered. So I had like these birds on my head the whole time, and as a guy that's sometimes frolically challenged, it looked.
What are you trying to say there, Nathan?
Yeah. So it was very cute on the screen of seeing these little birds, and every once in a while they like pretend to poop on you and stuff like that. So it was a very entertaining event. We talked about some technology items, but it was very social. I have done Fridays at 5 event, essentially where everybody comes on in. You have your favorite drink that you talk about. So you go around the deal and you talk about your drink. Mine is, guess what, whiskey. So I just have some whiskey there and I just pull it from my shelves. And then normally I have my shelves on the camera and they're like, oh, so you're an alcoholic. And I'm like, no, I host a radio program. And like, oh, you're an alcoholic now. And so we just have a drink. Everybody talks around. And then the other event that I did, which was unbelievable, was a murder mystery event.
Oh, that would be interesting.
So it was set up, and they had literally like 1,500 people participate in it. It was a sponsor, very cheap type of event, but they actually had actors and actresses that were in charge of your certain table, just like you would do at a regular event. They told a story. They had a main narrator that was the master person, and so they would tell you the story, and then you'd ask questions, and you'd ask questions around your table, and then you would merge tables. It was all done through Zoom, very professionally done. So the back end people had to be working on this, where you'd put two tables together, and then all of a sudden you're talking about and interviewing people, and then you take that table back out so that it was just, but it was an unbelievable event, and it was very fun. So as networking events, if I see anything that is a little bit unique on there, I'm going to jump on it from here on out.
Yeah, you're going to have to forward some of that stuff to me.
Okay, yeah, the next
I
murder
totally
mystery.
do a murder mystery.
Yeah, it was a great time. So what they did is they planned like you would do a regular live event, but they altered it to be online.
Yeah, I've attended live murder mysteries, and those are a lot of fun.
So it was the same, and it worked
Yeah.
just as well. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
This has nothing to do with it. That's a far cry from a regular networking event, but
But it's
Still
just as
great.
easy, right? I mean, you just it doesn't cost you any food. You just hire some actors and actresses to come on in, read some parts, and put together. It was great. So networking on social media. So here's something that I struggle with myself. I don't know how much your personal life should blend into your business life, but some people blend it really well. And of course, you have stuff like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all available for free. So if you're trying to network with people, the recommendation is that you should either set up a business Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter account, or have a dual account, one that you may use for business with your business email address attached to, and one that you may use for personal, so you don't necessarily have to blend between that. But then there are actual tools that engage and actually do automated marketing so that you can have automated posts for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
yep.
So I use
think
one.
is one of them.
What's that?
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite is absolutely one of them. There's another one called DVLRT that's available, and we'll have all these links available on techtimeradio.com that you can go and take a look at it. But they self-populate. They help keep content that you may be interested in, and it pushes it out there so you can build an audience.
Yeah.
According to research, 71% of consumers who have had a positive experience with a brand on social media are likely to recommend that brand to a friend or family. So word of mouth in the digital age works. So a tweet out for something, do something here. A friend of mine just posted a brand new private coffee company, came online, and he tweeted out information about it. And so I ended up spending $36 on some coffee. I don't know if it's any good or not, but he said it was really good and gave it a shot. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So again, using social media as a platform works. Number 3, join an online business community. Some online networks exist specifically for business to connect one another. One of those big ones, the upshot communities like Alignable. So that's ALIGNABLE.com. Has the potential to generate referrals and grow your business in directions that physical networking has never been able to do. This is essentially becoming the cheap end version of LinkedIn. So it's local and people are connecting on there, posting stuff. There's also other apps that are available that target professional areas. So if you have a specific profession in your area, you may want to look at business communities within that area. There are, again, Facebook groups that you can join, and there's a Facebook group for just about anything. But if you're in a certain business area, real estate, any of these type of businesses, here's an opportunity to jump into that. And number 4 is to join a professional association. So I have done this. I have done lots of professional associations. I used to be in BNI for a little bit. Didn't quite work for me because you had to meet with everybody like every week.
That's a little much.
And so, man, I was like, at the same time, I can't tell you how much it did. I'm a little bit of an introvert myself, so I don't necessarily say, oh, this is what I do really well. So doing it a week, it was tough. I've done also some other professional organizations where you join certain groups. There's like these exec groups that you can be a part of. But there's this new group that I've joined, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I renewed up, and normally I don't. I normally do them for a year or not. It's called Provisors. So it's a new group. Well, it's been around, I guess, for a while. But they have some groups up in Seattle and Bellevue. And it's a lot more business professional. And it's all about yourself. And so you talk about what yourself you're doing, not necessarily your business, and then you can get referrals that way. So I've enjoyed that. But joining a professional association right now is huge. And they have all merged to online applications and online presence. And I can do a lot more in my Zoom meetings and Provisors than I would have done probably in a group of 30 or 40 people in a room.
I think we're going to see a lot more of this even once we get through this.
And a Chamber of Commerce right now. Chamber of Commerce is dirt cheap to join. Most Chamber of Commerce's right now is like insignificant to join, and they've all figured out how to do the Zoom networking and brunches and virtual networks also. So if you have a business and you're not doing just your local Chamber of Commerce, you should absolutely contact them, because again, in the Zoom era, as much as we don't necessarily always like seeing that Zoom meeting, or we get a little zoomed out or whatever needs to be done. Zoom fatigue. Having the ability to do a Chamber of Commerce in a Zoom setup is so simple to do. Number 5. So here's our 5th one. Have a virtual coffee catch-up.
Yeah, we call them clatches.
Clatches?
Coffee clatches. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard that term. I like that term. We'll have to call that as a Tech Time Radio term, clatches.
There we go.
Okay, so a coffee catch-up. This is simple to do. All you do is you set up your video conferencing app like Skype, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, whatever you have available. And then you have a small group of people. You sit around kind of like the Fridays at 5 type of deal with alcohol, but you just sip coffee. But a lot of these companies, and I would recommend as a business, what they do is they can give a $5 Starbucks card or even a delivery service so that the person that you're trying to get to that coffee meeting has the incentive to be there. So if I want to do business with Joe, and Joe has a construction company and I want to do business with, I say, hey, Joe, let's have a cup of Joe. And
did you make that up right now?
I just did.
That was very good.
That was pretty good. Okay. And then let's get together. Let me send you a $5, $10 Starbucks card, whether it's 5 or 10. You probably have to send $10 for Starbucks drinks or another coffee provider in the local area, so they can get a card, and the next time they go on in, boom, they can order a coffee and probably have a coffee of their own as they're in the meeting, and still have them show up and have that one-on-one time to talk.
Yeah, there you go.
A big thing is making sure you have your camera set up when you're talking. So we're going to go talk. Those were the top 5 things. Let's talk about camera setups. Camera setups can be as simple as any camera you can find online that at least does 720p. But the key aspects is making sure that when you're looking at the person, you're looking at the camera and not your screen. Mm-hmm. You don't want to really be using your built-in camera, because your built-in camera on your laptop, unless your laptop is raised, it's normally on a table, so you're looking down or looking up your nostrils. So it's absolutely not the view that you probably want to present as a business. But purchase a cam quarter that you can do the hookup, or a video camera USB that you can hook up. Either one of those, both work fine. And then the proper lighting is the most important. So as you can see in our studios, we have lots of lights here. We have lights pointing here and there. You can buy a simple clip. I have a simple clip light that I put right above the camera so that it's right on my face, nice and bright, so that I look like I'm ready to talk as you would any film producer. That is the most important aspect in all of this, is lighting.
Yeah, I would say just stand by a window, but this is Seattle.
So that's right. So you don't always have that.
You don't always have light.
So let's take a look at some video conferencing stats. So Zoom has reached 300 million meeting participants per day. Mm-hmm. Microsoft Teams has grown 70% in 1 month alone, this last month. In addition to popular and benefits of networking, a LinkedIn survey said that 35% of all conversations on LinkedIn now lead to an opportunity in business. So this is where it's happening. That's a better return rate than out of your standard sales process, where you get 100 prospects and then you get 10 leads and then you get 3 bites, and then you're lucky if you transition 2 or 3 of those into sales. So 35% sale business on LinkedIn. Some other things that people should think about. These are small businesses that have used these concepts, these 5 areas that we talked about in some of these areas. Here's what they're saying. Online is fantastic for one-to-one coffee meetings. It's free. There's no travel time, and everybody seems more relaxed.
Yeah.
I use Zoom and Google Hangouts to connect with authors and publishers to discuss audiobook narrations and projects. I belong to a couple of local women in business associations, and all of their networking has moved online. I attend at least 1 or 2 meetings per month and make sure that all my connections are online as well so that we can meet face-to-face. I take no meetings on the phone. I want to see the person talking. So they've decided that they're not going to take any phone business. Doing that since COVID-19, my business had to go 100% online, and I'm still learning. So far, my networking is coming from social media. My Instagram, Twitter are sending out personalized email messages through templates. I still get personal referrals, but I'm finding social media to be really powerful during this time. And last, meetings have been taking place on Zoom. I've participated in several performances on Facebook and other sites. I've been promoting my own videos on YouTube and currently working to launch 5 online storytelling courses. So, just as you can watch us on YouTube, you can also use YouTube as a platform to do a lot of different areas. It's available, and it costs you nothing. It just means that Google owns the rights to redistribute everything that you do at any time that they see please. But besides that, there are lots of opportunities to be networking, and your business should be using those now. And if you want any more tips, you can go to techtimeradio.com, and we'll have a whole bunch of information available there for you and your small business. So, hopefully that helps out some small businesses. Mike, what do you think?
I think it will, because we don't have a lot of choices right now.
We don't. So it's either networking or your business isn't going to be able to generate new leads or sales. You are correct.
Yeah, there are a lot of benefits to using these video formats, to in-person events, because, I can talk to somebody on the East Coast. We can't just meet up in a bar unless we spend a lot of money.
I talked to somebody from Boston, and we actually have some work that we're probably going to be able to do with Elite Executive Services that I'm a part of, and so it was really great in that Provisor event to do that also. So, all right. Well, right now we are going to be heading out to a commercial break. When we come back, though, this is what we've been waiting for. This is our final tasting. And Mike and I are going to participate in a challenge that is called Guess Who?
Guess Who?
Guess Who? So if you've ever played the board game as a child, Guess Who? Mike and I are going to go against each other and Guess Who and see if the brains can beat the nerd on his algorithm process that he has pre-built into the game template itself. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Tech Time Radio. I am your host, Nathan Mumm. Thank you for joining us.
Right now, kids are learning in their kitchens
and dining rooms
and bedrooms.
Families are redefining the word school.
It's pretty inspiring.
It's why at Xfinity, we're committed to helping kids keep learning.
It's why we're working 24/7 to keep our network fast, reliable, and secure.
We're providing affordable internet access to low-income families
through our Internet Essentials program.
And this is pretty cool.
Just say education until your X1 voice remote
to get free K-12 educational content.
It's that easy.
And you can learn more at xfinity.com/prepare.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm, with our co-host, Mike Gorday. We have our third and final whiskey tasting before we announce our pick of the day. And we have a Wits of Perception in store for you on our Gamer Time segment. So we are moving into a traditional game. As you can see on YouTube, we have our Guess Who boards all set up. But before we do that, I'm going to take a little bit of whiskey. It'll be some liquid courage for this. All right, so as we start out our gamer time, I had some fans send in a request. They would want to play fantasy football, and I'm a fantasy football guy. I like fantasy football. So we are going to do a deal where we are going to allow 9 other competitors to come on in and compete with our Tech Time Radio team, which will be me and you, Mike. We'll pick a team, and we are going to have signups for the first 9 people that can sign up. They have to send us a request to play in fantasy football. So the title has to be fantasy football request, and it has to be sent to press@techtimeradio.com. So press is PRESS at techtimeradio.com. If you're interested in joining our fantasy football league, you will be playing for a prize for our champion that will win a Walter Jones, who's a Seahawk Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame 14, and a Tyler Lockett signed football. So we got it right there. This is available to the winner of our league this year. For our contest here, you can sign up only online by sending us an email to press@techtimeradio.com. Join our fantasy football league, and we will do a draft. We'll do our picks, and then we will have a fantasy football team.
That sounds good.
But I still want to win. Let me just because we're having fans play. And
well, you're ultra competitive.
Oh yes, everything is a competition, right? So that is our game. If you're interested in that, sign up. Press@techtimeradio.com. You'll see a little announcement on www.techtimeradio.com to join our fantasy football league. It'll only be 9 people, 10 league person, Yahoo rules, and we'll be good to go. So here we got our gamer time. We got the classic game, Guess Who? And I am going to use, it's not the best way to do this, but I'm going to use a computer algorithm based upon the best way to select people for this game. And it's going to go against you, who is going to be using the standard process to do that. So
you get a cheat sheet, and I have to use my head.
Well, I as a geek, I decided to go online, and I found a cheat sheet that helps tell you what questions to ask. And so I'm going to follow that down. It doesn't say that you always win. So what it says is it's the best probability, but it's very conservative. So some of these people, it will take 6 or 7 turns to do. Some of these a little bit less based upon the questions that I ask. So here's my question sheet that I have here.
All right.
All right. You are going to up first. So you ask me a question.
You go first.
Okay, I'll
you're
go
the
first.
youngest, right?
All right.
Aren't you supposed to go first anyway?
It did say the youngest. Well, I don't know. I think we're about the same age. So does my character I'm looking for have a big mouth? No. Okay. Now you get to ask me a question. There we go. Okay. Big mouths are gone.
Does your character have hair?
Does my character have hair? Yes. Does my character have curly hair? No.
Does your character have a smile on their face?
Does my person have a smile? It's a very neutral looking. So I'd say no on the smile. It's not a frown. So I said no on the big mouth, no on the curly hair. Does my person have long hair?
No.
No.
Does your person have blonde hair?
No. See, that's one of those big questions there. Okay, my next question. So you said long hair, you said no. Is my person bald?
Yes.
Yes.
Is your person male or female?
Female. See, you can see mine's an algorithm. Mm-hmm. You could beat me. Once you know what it is, you can always take a guess, okay? So you said bald, yes. So my next question is, does my person have glasses?
Yes.
That's not the tree I wanted to move to. Okay.
Is your person wearing a hat?
No. We're down to 2-2. See?
Yes, 2-2.
2-2. Here is my question. Here's where I get it. Does my person have blue eyes? Blue eyes.
You would have to ask a question I can't see. No.
Blue eyes, no. Okay, so I will guess my next turn. Okay.
Is your person?
So you have a chance to guess now too.
Yeah.
So I'm down to one person.
I'm gonna go ahead and risk.
You're gonna risk?
I'm gonna take a risk.
Okay, because I'm not gonna take the risk. I'm gonna do it by the logical chart.
Is your person Claire?
No.
It's Maria, huh?
Yes.
Dang it.
And your person is Sam.
Yes.
Okay, so as you can take a look on the chart here that goes through, it goes through the same processes. If I would have been better if Bald would have said no, and then he would have had Hat that I would have had to ask, and I would have to ask if it was sad looking, so it would have gone all the way out to 7, so you would have actually won on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so now we know that there is a Guess Who strategy that will be posted online at techtimeradio.com.
I got beaten by a computer.
So you got beaten by the computer. So they ask the questions. Big mouth, yes or no is the number one first question to ask. Then it goes black hair or curly hair. So if you say yes, big mouth, you go to black hair. If you say no, you go to curly hair. Mustache is a go-getter. If you say you have a mustache, then you can only answer this in 3. If not, and your hair has a partition, then you can go all the way up to 6 or 7. But the way you went, if you would have only said bald, if you would have said no, then essentially it goes up to the longest tree, which would be up to 7 turns that you'd have to go.
Awesome.
So this is fantastic. So
you're happy that you beat me.
It doesn't make a difference whether I win or lose, but I am freaking excited.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
All right, so that is our Gamer Time segment.
Okay.
And now we get to go to our pick of the day. And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubble to the top. Mike, pick of the day. This is...
it's really good.
Is it really good?
Yes.
It is very good. So this is, again, so you're giving a thumbs up, and you're giving a thumbs up to Knob Creek, the 9-year age single
barrel
Kentucky reserve.
Straight bourbon.
So it's best served over ice, they say. If you serve this over a little bit of ice and let the ice and enjoy the water melting into it, it takes a little bit of the bite off.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's a vanilla oak and rye taste within the deal. It's a $40 to $50 price tag, so it'll be available online. And I will also, last week's episode, did we split on last week's episode, or did we both go?
I think we both gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah, it
was because of the bite.
Yeah, the bite was 2. This is absolutely a thumbs up by me. So that's a 2 thumbs up. This is a recommendation. I would absolutely get you. It's 120 proof, so a little stronger than some of the other 80 proof, 100 proof bottles. Make sure that you're sitting at home when you take a little bit of this, but it was phenomenal. So it is definitely our pick of the day.
Yeah, this is a good sipping whiskey.
Very good sipping whiskey on the back porch, having a good time. All right, well, that ends our show today for Tech Time Radio. What we learned today is we learned about small business networking. We learned again about Facebook, which we always learn about. And we learned Guess Who's algorithm seems to work on the computer. Just barely over the human pick of Guess Who. So if you want to play with your kids or somebody at home, you can find the old Guess Who game and have things ready to go.
Yeah, so we have a cheat for you.
That's right. So you can print it out and then try to play your sons. Guess what I'm doing tonight before
you're gonna try and smoke
I'm
your
absolutely
kids?
gonna play my son on a game and say, hey, do you want to play this? And he'll say, oh, sure, Dad. Then we'll put a couple bucks on it and we'll see what happens. So
yeah, be sure to let me know how that works out.
I'll win, I think, probably. He'll probably get upset. He'll probably say you cheated, Dad. So
well, he says that every Sunday anyway,
he
right?
He says every Sunday when we're playing a little Age of Empires. That's right. All right, well, everybody, thank you for joining Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mum. We got Mike Gorday. We look forward to seeing you guys. This was episode 12. And so we got 13, 14, 15, 16. We have a couple things coming on up. We are going to have our scare episode where we're going to talk about all the scary technologies that are out there to spy on people for our Halloween effort. We're going to have our top toys for the season that we'll be doing a review of all the top electronic toys for everybody coming on up. We have
Didn't we already do that with the mech The
No,
mech?
the mech. That's a great fun toy.
We gotta do the Tribble one.
the Tribble ones. Yeah,
That's got to be on there.
That's got to be the little Tribble, the little
one we
AI
talked about
pet
a couple
that we
of
talked
weeks
about.
ago, yeah.
So we're gonna do our segment there. We also still have our signups for fantasy football. If you go send an email to press@techtimeradio.com, you can sign up to join our fantasy football league. And then we also have our back to school special that we'll have. So we got a lot of specials coming on up and a lot of segments. And again, we're just excited to be a part of Tech Time Radio. Hopefully you guys enjoy the program and let us know and listen and share out the podcast to people. So you can find us everywhere that has a podcast player out now. So we've got it out there for 10 episodes. So
Yeah, we're everywhere.
we're everywhere.
We're watching you.
That's right. Well,
No,
we're not watching.
maybe not.
No. All right. Thank you very much. I'm Nathan Mum. Have a great day. It's Micro Day.
That's me.
All right. See you guys
Goodbye.
later. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us for Tech Time Radio today. I'm your host, Nathan Mum. Hopefully you enjoyed talking technology and, of course, having a little whiskey on the side. Remember as we leave, mum's the word. Thank you for listening. If you like the show and want to learn more, please check us out at techtimeradio.com or on YouTube or your favorite podcast service. Just look for Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.